dollars. Not a fan. I don't know why. Just not.
I understand.
Here we go on YouTube.
Yeah, I understand.
All right. Hey, everybody on YouTube, thank you so much for coming on in after last night's Power Night show about UFOs. We're getting right back into it with out-of-body experiences tonight. We are going to have a blast. Marilynn Hughes is our guest, and you know what? This lady, I don't know where she finds time for all of this. She's got a beautiful website called outofbodytravel.org. She has authored 101 books. I can't finish one, and she's got 101 out. What the hell is going on here? Anyways, we're going to have a blast. I've talked to her a couple times already today. She's listening in now, and I'll tell you, the energy on Marilynn is incredible. Incredible. I'm so looking forward to this. So looking forward to this. Hey, let's give a shout out to everybody who's in our chat room so far, coming in early. Waylon, good to see you. Crystal Light, thank you for coming on in. Science Bob, I hope you got your cape on for tonight, man, because it's going to be a good one. Triple M, good to see you. Brett, thanks for coming on in. Chocobo, Lord of Land, appreciate you coming on in. Lufon, thank you for stopping by. Renee, you're looking gorgeous tonight. Jason McDaniel, good to have you here, my friend. Are you here for the whole show, or do you got to leave for work soon? Hopefully you get to catch the whole show. Andrew Hall, thanks for coming on in, man. Appreciate you. And I know more of you will come on in. Marilynn, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I got the hair down. It stopped raining here in British Columbia, so I'm good with that. And, and you know, I mean, it's fantastic. Fantastic.
Well, that sounds fantastic. We could use some of that rain down here in Arizona.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Well, you know what? It started on early morning, July 1st at about 1 o'clock in the morning, and it didn't let up until late last night. It was an incredible dump of rain. Good for the forests. Fantastic for the forests. You know? So they're not going to burn, but that's okay.
Fantastic for the forest. Yeah, that's great.
I can't wait to learn all about you. Beautiful up there. Yes, it is. I live about 5.5 hours north of Vancouver, so I am like way in the wilderness here. Way in the wilderness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful air.
Oh yeah. I live about 3/4 of a mile above sea level. So it's nice, clean air, very crisp. It's weird, but maybe it's my imagination, but it almost seems like we're closer to the clouds. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I think you probably are.
Mm-hmm.
Probably are.
Mm-hmm.
3/4 of a mile.
Absolutely. We'll give a quick shout out
here.
I used
to be in Colorado.
Oh, you were in Colorado, so you know all about that.
Yeah, you're definitely closer to the clouds when you're up there. Yeah.
Absolutely. Quick shout out to Nilbog, Lort, Brian, good to have you back here. Roscoe, thanks for coming on in tonight. Appreciate you. Jules, you're looking stunning. Jenny with a super chat right off the bat, just boom, hit me in the side of the face with that. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that, Jenny. Much love to you. Much love. Thank you so much. Hang out in the chat room a little bit. Hang out with us. Be one of us. Let's do that. Yeah. All right. So we got about 2 minutes here. I got to start the one feed right now. All right. That started. And let's go over here. And let's go like this. Like that. So I'll read an intro to you and then an intro to the show. And then we'll be off and running. Hi, Bill WD40. Cool. Good to have you here. Ross, thank you, my friend, for coming on in, man. Appreciate you being here. Thank you. All right, so we got about 45 seconds. Go 66. Good to have you here, my friend. And I think we're going to have another power show tonight, guys. I can feel it. I can really feel it that it's going to be another power show. We're on a real roll right now, and tonight it's going to continue. I can totally feel it. I look forward to this one.
We're going to do it.
Yeah, Marilynn, that's the attitude.
That's right.
All right, sent out the final tweet, and we're going to connect with the live feed here now. And we are on in 5 seconds, starting now. 4, 3, 2, 1. Music is on. Here we go. We're in for a good night. I know you can't hear the music, but I swear to you, Marilynn, we are rocking big time. And it's like out-of-body experiences, near-death experiences. I don't want that. I don't want to be, having that big silver cord and I'm 16 and a half miles away from home. And the more I try to pull on that cord to get back and pull myself back, it keeps stretching out more and more. Scares the daylights out of me. But, we'll get into that a lot during the show here as we learn all about the out-of-body experience. But let's learn about you here for a second. Tell us about how you got involved in the study of out-of-body.
Well, I got involved in it just because it started happening to me very early on. I've talked in a lot of interviews about how I had a very powerful experience at the age of 9 where I was shown that I was going to have a purpose and a mission to do, and then it returned at the age of 22, and 34 years later, I'm still doing it, and thousands of out-of-body experiences later. So I started studying it more as a result of it happening to me. And, my studying was definitely then directed by the experiences themselves. Because as you continue the journeys that you have in the out-of-body travel state, you're given really specific direction. So I was told in which direction I should study, what I should be looking at, what I should be actually doing. And that led me to the study of the ancient sacred texts. And so thus we have, the last 30 or more years of my life.
That is dedication. That is complete dedication. No, and I mean that. I mean that not being smart assed here or anything like that. I mean that because a lot of people can't do that. A lot of people struggle with doing that, and all of a sudden have you out there doing it for yourself and really sinking into your own research and learning everything you can about it. I think that's phenomenal because we don't have a lot of that in this field. A lot of people are all hit and run, where they learn about it, they act like an expert for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden, poof, they're gone, never to be heard from again.
Well, and there is so much to be learned in this field because we have a tradition of over 5,000 years of the mystics, that have been having out-of-body experiences from the beginning of time, and it actually goes much further back than 5,000 years. And this tradition is laid out in the ancient sacred texts, written, the last words left behind by the prophets, saints, mystics, and sages and ascetics from all around the world in different religious traditions and also in tribal and other types of cultural contexts who were having these experiences and who shared those very important last words that they left behind before they left this realm permanently, which means that they had figured out the great mystery of life and they were done here. They had graduated this realm. And so that's what I learned through a lot of my travels and my studies was that we are neglecting some of the great keys, the mysteries that lay before us that are right before our eyes as to why are we here? What is the purpose of our existence here? Out-of-body travel is much more than just a paranormal adventure. It is the key. It's the key to everything, the key to life, the key to the mystery of our existence, and the way that we unlock the purpose of our journey here, the purpose of our own individual souls, as well as understand the journey of the human soul as to how do we evolve uniquely, individually, and as, the universal consciousness mind going forward. How does this all work? Why does it work? There's so much to it. That's why I wrote so many books about it. But yeah, that's,
101 books, Marilynn. How do you find time in your research throughout your day, your personal life to write 101 books? Like, were these like 3-page books that you were publishing in order to get them out there? 101. I can't believe that.
No, they're actually, some of them, one of them is a 12-volume encyclopedia of ancient sacred texts, and a lot of them are very lengthy tomes, well over 800 pages. So very long, very, very intensive studies on a variety of ways to look through the mystery lens of out-of-body travel. I have 3 kids and they're all adults now, but when they were growing up, I would kind of take care of the kids during the day and I would write at night. So that's kind of how I did it. So I was doing a lot of my writing at night and I was just very, very disciplined about it, And I also, in the out-of-body experiences that I had, I was given a lot of instruction in exactly what I was to do. And so there was a lot of direction. And the purposefulness of it was emphasized to me in terms of it was important for me to be very disciplined and to get it done and to do the work. So I became very disciplined that way.
Oh, well, you would have to be. You'd have to be, because when you were writing that much theory, that's a lot of brain power to go through everything. And I just don't know how you would find the time. I mean, the discipline that comes along with that is incredible.
Yeah, it was, but you have to realize, there's a lot of help coming with that, because it's really, the power of the Holy Spirit, the universal mind is, it's coming to you. It's being brought to you. It's not really, I don't really know how to put it exactly, because it's not, you're receiving assistance, I guess is the way you would say it. One of the things I've definitely seen in my study of the ancient sacred texts and the writings of the mystics is that there are some mystics who were very prolific writers. For instance, Francisco Candido Javier, who passed away in 2002. He was a Brazilian mystic, and he was a very prolific writer on the experiences that he had, and his works were very groundbreaking. I think he wrote over 400 books during his life. I think he was born in 1910. So, when you have the impetus of the Holy Spirit that is coming through that work, there is, it alters how it's coming through, because you're not doing it yourself. I often tell people that, if I just try to write something by myself, I literally will just sit there and stare at the page. But when something is intended for me to write, I can go, 300 words a minute. It's something that is being brought through you.
Very true.
So there's a lot of assistance that you're receiving. So it's just not me. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Not me by myself,
Yes. Marilynn Hughes is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Marilynn, I'm curious in regards to the out-of-body experience. Do you remember the first time that it happened to you?
Well, that would have been when I was 9 years old. Yeah. And it was very powerful. Literally it was, like thunderous moment. Clouds appeared before me, billowing, and they were parting, and they parted to reveal this, like a marble staircase. And this marble staircase was leading up into the heavens, and up at the top were two beings who I perceived as God and our Lord Jesus Christ. And on the sides of the staircase, it was lined with these golden angels. And I proceeded forward, and then I was shown a bunch of things about what I was going to need to do in the future. And then I was shown some of the obstacles that I would face. And then, told that there would be some difficulties before this would return to me later. And then at the age of 22, the first experience I had after that was much more of a simple experience, where I just kind of went into the vibrational state, started hearing all the sounds of the astral plane, the jet engine noises, and all of a sudden raised up my arm, and my light arm came out of my body, and I rolled out of my body, floated up to the ceiling, and saw my lump of flesh below, the gray clump that people talk about, and experienced that first time a bit of fear as well, just because it was my first time. I was 22 at the time, so it'd been a while. And that was then, the impetus for what would begin the next phase. So then, the first time in the later part of my life there was very simple. But as these experiences have progressed, it's gone into multidimensional travel. You go through the heavens, hells, and purgatories. There's, the initiations into the mysteries, the experiences that you can achieve in the out-of-body travel state are so far beyond what I think most people realize in terms of their depth, their meaning, and their scope. It's very, very deep, very, very deep.
I can see that. I can see that. So at 9 years old, when you started going through this, you must have panicked. You must have been scared like anything to be going through this.
Well, that's interesting that you would think that, but when I had it at the age of 9, it was a totally awe-inspiring experience. It was truly one of those, what I would call a burning bush moment, and, in the sense of it was it was like I knew I had, what I had seen was holy and it was beautiful and I wasn't afraid at all. Later on in life, the first time there was fear. And then I went through a lot of different things where I learned how to go through the experiences without being afraid. But then, one of the things that's unique in my work as well is that I deal with the spiritual warfare side of the equation. So a lot of my books talk about that, and that, we do deal with ghosts and lost souls, wandering spirits, and later on down the road, you deal with the demonic and some of the darker stuff that comes into it as well. And so that's when you experience the fear, I think. But even with that kind of stuff, we do undergo what I call mystical training. We undergo that in the out-of-body travel state, where we are taught to learn to deal with all of these things. And so these things are not nearly as frightening as we initially might react to them, because we are trained to deal with them
right
in a proper way that changes the way we feel towards them.
I want to ask you in regards to people who have experienced these or may eventually try to experience them. There's a sense of fear in trying something like this because it is so out of the ordinary. It is sort of out there where it's on that precipice of being unbelievable. You take people through this, you teach them how to do this. Why would you teach someone to leave their body?
Well, that's a great question, because, it's funny in the way you put it, because I want the reason you would teach somebody to leave their body is because by learning to experience out-of-body travel, a person becomes capable of operating in their life and in their spiritual life from all aspects of their existence. And by so doing, they accelerate their spiritual evolution exponentially to the degree that they become capable of actually achieving that for which they incarnated here in the first place. So it actually becomes a huge and vital tool for the human soul to actually achieve what they're here for. So it's absolutely something that is essential if someone is interested in understanding the purpose of their existence and moving forward in the purification journey of the soul. What was the first part of that question? I forgot.
Just in the regards that, people will look at this and they'll think it's truly unbelievable, that it shouldn't be happening. It shouldn't be real.
Okay. Yeah. And the thing about that part of it is that in reality, what I think will be happening probably coming up in the next, not even in the next, I don't even think it'll take a few decades. I think it'll be less than that. We are seeing that more and more people are going to find that this is not really that paranormal, because the reality is that everybody actually experiences out-of-body travel during the night when they are sleeping. The only difference is that their consciousness is not awakened to it. So they experience it in their subconscious states. So what we are doing is we are making people consciously aware of something that is already occurring. So this is not something that is actually so unbelievable. It's something that's already happening. We are just making people conscious of it by bringing it to their conscious level, there are all these things that come from this, because during these states, during our sleep, the spirit world, and this is the hierarchies, the hierarchical world, which includes, all the orders of the angelic hierarchy, the kingdoms. There's so much. And so I won't even try to, go there. But that's when we are receiving instruction and guidance and counsel. And that is how we're receiving the general direction to push us forward into our spiritual evolution forward. When we bring that to conscious awareness, we create the ability to accelerate the soul. So people might think that it is unbelievable, but literally what happens is there's literally just this tiny little tweak that occurs that takes a person from being unconscious of what's already happening to becoming conscious of it, and then being able to accelerate it to a degree where they literally are putting themselves onto a much deeper spiritual path that is directionally focused towards that union with God, which is what the human soul is seeking and achieving.
Marilynn, we got about 2.5 minutes. Sorry, go ahead.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay.
What was your question? Sorry.
I was just going to say we got 2.5 minutes before we have to go to break at the bottom of the hour. Marilynn, who is the one or who are the guides that are telling us which directions to go?
Well, you have, during all of these experiences, you're going to have different spiritual teachers and spiritual guardians, and also like guardian angels at different junctures during your path. You'll start out with a teacher that has what you need in the beginning, and when you learn that particular trait, then you're going to be passed on to another teacher, and then to another teacher, and another master, and then another and another. So there will be literally hundreds of those during your spiritual process. And so it's a never-ending type of journey into higher and higher spiritual awareness. And so there's not just one, there's many, many, many. As long as this human soul is actually moving forward, you're going to move into different teachings and different teachers in the spiritual realm that will take you to the next level.
Okay. So with that, are those spiritual teachers from heaven? Are they spirit guides? As we got about a minute to go.
Some of them would consider themselves as spiritual guides. I would consider them more as spiritual teachers. Some of them would be masters. They all have different names, like, for instance, Emmanuel or Kutahe or some that I had during my traveling, but I had many, many, many of them. So they would be from many of the different heavens. There are many heavens. There's not one. There are literally an infinite number of heavens. So they're from different frequencies and spheres. They all come from a different vibrational reality.
Well, that's something that I've never really thought about, but I guess we're here to learn. That's why we have you here. Marilynn Hughes is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio, author of 101 books, not Dalmatians, books. Yeah, you can find them absolutely everywhere online in bookstores. I highly suggest you check them on out. Her website, outofbodytravel.org. Let's learn what out-of-body experiences are like next on Spaced Out Radio. That was a very fast half hour. Just boom, gone. Just like that. We astral traveled right through it.
We sure did.
Absolutely.
We're having a good time, Dave.
I think so.
Yeah.
Honestly, your energy is just amazing. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Dave. I like your energy too. We're a good synergy here.
We're so far so good. Just don't have.
Yeah, and I haven't lost my voice yet. So that's good.
Well, that's good. No, I love the way you're detailing things. I love the way you're detailing things. So thank you for making that easy for us to understand.
I'm trying to. So just always let me know if I'm not making something clear. Just ask me to make it clearer, and I'll try.
Oh, no worries. No worries. We can figure that out.
Sometimes it's hard to put. Yeah, sometimes it's hard because some of these things are hard to put into words, but you do your best. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. We just get to kick back, relax now for a little bit, hang out with the YouTube crowd, see how they're doing, you know.
Cool.
Hey, Patrick Noble. Hi, Stu Gerson. Jason, good for you coming on in. Thank you so much. All right. Where do we go from here? Where do we go now? Where do we go? All right. So whereabouts in Arizona are you?
I am in Fountain Hills.
Oh, nice. I have no idea where that is, but it sounds nice.
It is. It's a nice little area, kind of a little mountainous area right by the Amethyst Mountain, 4 peaks. And so it's a nice little area.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Trying to see if my cat is coming.
Oh, my cat.
Trying to get eaten out there.
My cat is in heat right now. She's staying away from me because it's driving me nuts. She goes and gets fixed on the 17th.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mine is sitting on the back porch, but she is alive, so that's good. She goes outside. I try to get her to come in earlier because the bobcats come out, but she's okay so far, but get her back in here as soon as I can here.
Oh, yes. Damn bobcats. Damn bobcats.
Yeah, we doesn't realize that she's do you got them up there too?
We have bobcats, lynx, and cougars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We have lynx in Colorado. Those are pretty. Pretty
much anything that could kill you is here, except snakes.
Yeah.
Scorpions.
And, we got the snakes and the scorpions. I don't like those. Those are nasty.
Nope. I don't need any snakes or scorpions.
Me neither.
I know that feeling. There's just not a lot of love there for them.
They're not a happy kind of camper.
No. Hey, Michael Leger, the Michael Leger, welcome back, man. Thank you for coming on in. All right, we've got about 90 seconds here. 90 seconds. And, so far, so good.
My cat thinks she's the predator. She doesn't realize she could be the prey.
Yeah. I went outside during a break. What was it? Almost 2 years ago now. Or was it last year? No, it was last year. I went outside during the break to catch a breath of fresh air because it was just one of those real nice, crisp evenings out. And it's dark out. And I have no lighting in my backyard. And my backyard, when it gets dark, it is dark. And long story short, I walk through my carport and I'm just kind of, checking out about to check out the stars in the sky. And I get growled at by a cougar like 40 feet away from me. I can't even see it.
Uh-oh.
But it growled at me. And I just said, okay, thank you. Going inside now. You just go stay right there. Yeah. But
you just mosey on over there to the woods.
Yeah. Well, you know what? He was just letting me know, and I have no issue with it. He was just letting me know that he was there and don't come near. And I was obviously going to respect that. Hold on one second, Marilynn, because we're about to come back. Hey, thank you to Science Bob and Jenny for the super chats tonight. Really do appreciate that. Give us a thumbs up, hit that bell thingy and the subscribe button if you haven't already. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. You can join our space travelers for $5 a month as well. Here we go. Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We want to remind you that if you missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Tonight, it's all about astral travel, out-of-body experiences, consciousness, psychic ability. We're going to fly to the stars, and our butts are not going to leave the chairs or couches we are on right now. Our guest, Marilynn Hughes, her website, outofbodytravel.org, if you want to check it on out. Marilynn, welcome back.
Thanks, Dave.
Not a problem. Thank you for being here. Okay, for people who have no idea what out-of-body travel is, could you break it down to the simplest forms for us and let us know?
Basically, it is when your spirit body is separating from your physical body and traveling outside. So, a lot of people think of it in terms more of astral travel, when they might be seeing their physical body from outside in the astral body and traveling through the astral realm. But out-of-body travel encompasses multi-dimensional travel. So you're going to be traveling in your soul body through many, many realms. So you will go through like what is called a vibrational state if you're going to have an out-of-body experience. And you will separate from your physical body and literally be traveling in your soul.
Interesting. So with that, does it only happen at night? Can it happen during the day?
Well, it happens a lot at night, but it also happens during the day. A lot of people will do their practices during the day. So, it depends on when you sleep and when you do your practices. A lot of people too will experience it like in the early morning. But usually you have to be in a sleeping kind of state. It'll happen in certain levels of consciousness. So, in my books, I recommend to people, certain practices to help people to do it. And one of them is, a meditation practice involving about a 3-hour period of time during the day, where you're lying flat somewhere and doing your meditations during the day and giving it at least 3 hours, because you want to give your body and your consciousness enough time to go deep so that you can enter into the vibrational state. And as people practice this, they will find that it becomes easier over time. But in the beginning, you have to practice quite a bit. Most people do. Some people, it comes very easy to. Others, it doesn't,
No, I understand that. And for people who have never experienced this before, what's it like?
Oh, it's such an amazing experience. First of all, when you hit the vibrational state, you're pretty overwhelmed by that because it's just so powerful. That's just mind-blowing in and of itself. But the vibrational state, part of the reason it's so intense is because you're separating from the physical frequency of the body to the spiritual frequency of the soul. And the frequency of the soul is much of a higher vibration than the physical body. So you are going into this higher frequency. So you literally feel like you just, got into a jet engine. You're going to hear all of these loud noises. And that, again, is also separating from the frequency of the physical realm to the frequency of the astral realm. And it has a different vibration. So it's loud and it sounds loud vibrations like you're sitting or lying next to a jet engine. You'll also oftentimes hear what sounds like a lot of voices, just jumbling voices. And that is the thoughts of humanity. In the astral realm, you'll just hear random thoughts. I often call it the mass retain because it is. It's kind of like just the thrown off, just the junk thoughts that people are having that's being thrown around the astral realm. But you'll hear that as just lots of voices talking. As you progress into the experience, you may go into this state where you connect into this unconditional love of God and what we call the mind of God. And in that space, you're going to feel this unbounded love, that God has for all life, all creation. It's and people talk about it in near-death experiences, but people experience this also in out-of-body travel. You also connect to this knowledge of all mysteries. And, many people report that, all of a sudden I just understood everything. Everything made sense. All the mysteries that I ever wondered about, I understood them. And then unfortunately, when I returned, I didn't carry that knowledge back with me, but for those moments, I understood them. So in those moments, while you're in that mind of God, you are experiencing that great knowledge of all the mysteries of life, And then a lot of times, so people will then separate from their body. And they will either do that by willing out or rolling over or something like this. There's a lot of stages that go on between this and a lot of other things, like learning how to move, because everything is consciousness related. So people can sometimes get stuck there because they have to learn how to move by using their thoughts, because people will try to walk or try to see things with physical eyes, and everything is consciousness related. So you have to use your thoughts. So if you think of a place or a person, you will instantaneously be transported to that place or person. And so you will start learning how to move differently. You'll learn how to move through physical objects over time as well. And physical objects are tighter vibrationally than air. So it's a little harder to do, and it may take more than one try, to do that, or more than one time. But there's a lot of little things, like the mechanics of it, that you will learn over time. As you continue to travel, you'll learn to travel through corridors. And there are many, many, many different corridors. They are that take you through two different places. For instance, there are corridors that take you through time, corridors that will take you into past lives, future lives, or parallel lives. There are corridors that take you into other dimensional realities. There are corridors that take you into what is called timelessness. There are corridors that take you into the initiations, into the mysteries. There are corridors that take you into the rites of passage. There are corridors that take you into the ascension frequencies. And there are different corridors that take you into or out of different heaven, hells, and purgatories. And so there is a huge amount that you learn, that you are taught mystically. And that's what I mean when I talk about mystical training, that you receive this mystical training as you are having these out-of-body experiences. There is such a sense of beauty, wonder, joy, and the immense love that people feel, and this wonderment, all of these things, come together. There is just such a, one of the biggest things that people, almost universally love is, flight. When people have their first experiences with astral flight or out-of-body travel flight, that is one of the most wondrous things, and shooting through the stars, because, you will travel sometimes into what I call the galactic heavens. And, you travel through black holes because those are interdimensional portals as well. And you're shooting through the space, through space and through the nebulas and different things. And it's such a rush, honestly, but it's a beautiful, beautiful feeling. I remember flying once with Babaji, the Hindu saint, in the galactic heavens. I painted it because I painted some things. You can see them at the website. I'm not a great painter, but, I tried. And but that was one of the things I did paint. And but there are so many things that you will experience when you have out-of-body experiences. Those basics do seem to be related to most people's first experiences. But what I want people to realize is that there is so much more beyond that. It's not just that, that initial experience of getting out of the body, wandering around the room, or even just checking in on someone in another part of the world. There is this beautiful, vast universe to explore. And I want to encourage people to be open to that, because that's what out-of-body travel really opens up for us.
All right. Honestly, it still scares the daylights out of me, even listening to you explain this. It does.
Really?
The thought of leaving my body and going, and it's funny because I've astral traveled before. Okay, but I still know where my physical body is. But the idea of having an out-of-body experience with that silver cord or whatever it is that we're still attached to, and hearing so many stories about people feeling helpless and weightless and struggling to get back, it literally scares the daylights out of me.
Well, that's interesting because, first of all, I've had thousands of experiences and I've never seen the silver cord that people talk about. I know some people have, so I'm sure it exists. But I think that what we have to remember, and this is one thing that a lot of people forget, is, and this is one of the things I went through in my training, was that when you feel lost or you feel like you can't get back to your body, you have to instantaneously remember to think of returning to your body, because that's how you do it. And we can get very caught up when we're feeling lost in the astral state. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And we forget the simplest of things, which is that is how travel works in the spirit realm. And so thinking of returning to our body is how we make that happen. I know it sounds very simple, but that's how it happens. So yes. And then if that doesn't work for somebody, then you call out for help. You call out to your guardian angels for help. And if that's not helpful, you call out to Jesus for help. And one of the things that I found in my travels is that if you're in trouble, you call out to St. Michael or you call out to Jesus Christ for help. If you're in trouble with any kind of demonic thing, if you're lost, you call out and you will get help. That's what will work. And you'll get it immediately. And you'll see that in near-death encounters. You'll see that in people who have had experiences like near-death encounters to hell. The minute that they called out to the Lord, he came and he turned it all around and brought them back. And that's what I have also experienced in my experiences. And I've heard from many, many others who have experienced the same thing. So sometimes people don't necessarily want to hear that, but I'm telling you what works.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Marilynn Hughes is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We're talking out-of-body experiences. The feeling of flight, the feeling of peace, the feeling of getting in touch with your spiritual side has a different effect
Right.
on each and every one of us who have this experience. For a newcomer who is wanting to try this, what should they prepare for?
Well, I don't know that they need to prepare for anything. I think the preparation should be in the what they're, when you're, there's a whole, at my website, we have a whole course of study on how to get ready for the experiences. And ironically, the kinds of things that you want to be doing to prepare for the out-of-body experience are the things that are actually going to make you feel all those things even when you're in your body. Because that is exactly what we're trying to achieve, in a sense anyway. We're trying to actually, we're trying to create and bring that back here. And so, for those who are not going to experience that out-of-body experience, they still have the opportunity to, enter into the purification pathway and experience this lightness of being and stuff. And so there is a whole course of training that you can go through to begin to understand the whole process of how to prepare for this lightning. This whole thing of, one of the books, I always suggest people start with The Mysteries of the Redemption, a treatise on out-of-body travel and mysticism. And that book is one that was programmed by the spiritual guides and those who helped me write it to help people to just have spontaneous experiences as they read the books. And that has, borne out to be true. And people will find that to be the case. So in order to prepare in some respects, you just want to take in the possibilities. By making things possible to your conscious mind, you open up the door to things that you did not perhaps previously know to be possible. So by reading about these things, by opening up these possibilities, learning, it's literally like opening the map, laying it out for you. And you see, oh, wow, that's possible. Oh, wow, look at all the things that are out there. And then all of a sudden, that door is open for you. That's how you prepare for it.
Do you have to be spiritual, religious, or any type of denomination in order to fully understand and feel safe in this experience?
I don't think you have to be of any particular religion, but you do want to be seeking God and God alone. And that is one of the things, is understanding the purpose of the out-of-body experience, because it does have a purpose, which is because we have a purpose. And our purpose here has to do with creation, and God is as the center of that. A lot of people are uncomfortable with that in today's world. But if you take the center, which is literally the goal point of what you're heading for. Okay, so if this is what we're here for and we're going towards this, and that happens to be God, and we just remove it out because we're not comfortable with it, then we're all just kind of like floating buoys in the sea. We need to understand that the purpose remains union with God. We are trying to move ever closer to an all-holy God. And we can all do that in our own particular way, with our own particular path, whatever that might be. But we do have to have some kind of an understanding of that is what we are approaching, and that we have to respect that and honor it. It's very important that we honor that is what this is about.
I'm getting a lot of questions from people who are asking, well, what do you see on the other side? What's there when you're out of body?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Crystal forests, temples in the sky. Oh, my goodness. This is it's so hard to put it. Oh, gosh, everything. You know, St. Paul said, "Eye has not seen nor ear heard what God has prepared for those who love Him," and that was an understatement. It was an understatement. The worlds of energy are so far beyond what we can fathom that there's not even words for them. I've been taken into, the heavens where the souls of humans and the souls of extraterrestrials reside peacefully together, and it's as natural as anything. You don't even notice it because it's that natural. The galactic heavens, the beautiful nebulas, the the temples in the sky. There are so many. There are all these worlds. The white-winged horses. I have a white-winged horse that takes me. His name is Saint Harmony Crystal Fire, and he'll come out and take me on journeys. And he is much more than a horse. This being has some type of sentience that is beyond my ability to comprehend. I've been shown this. He is beyond what we are as human beings. We see worlds that are literally, I've been to the Palace of Ancient Knowledge, which is the library where all knowledge is kept. And it has the scrolls from not just our world, that everything, all knowledge from our world that has ever been attained, but it has scrolls from every other world that has ever been attained. There's so many things. I've been shown the holiness of the sacrifice of the Holy Mass and how it manifests and is played out in the heavens. There's 54 steps in the mystical spheres. I've had so many experiences with the prophets, saints, mystics, and sages, and each one of them is just a different thing. There are so many different planetary civilizations, and each one has a different type of thrust. I've been to an extraterrestrial world where the light was so advanced that I have no words to describe it, but I didn't want to come back, and I really wish I didn't have to. It was just so far beyond ecstasy in terms of the way that they lived beyond unconditional love. They were so evolved beyond it. It was beyond it. It wasn't even what we would consider unconditional love. They were something so far beyond it. I have seen so many different types of beings whose nature is of a different accord than ours and different accords than one another. There is so much to learn about how our universe is populated. There are worlds where beingness is honored. There are places where you will go, where you will just join hundreds of thousands of Buddhas in meditation, literally.
That's incredible.
There is
Marilynn, I'm going to get you to hold on right there for a couple of seconds because we are going to go to break at the top of the hour, and I don't want to have to cut you off to all of a sudden end right in the middle of a sentence where you're going to be saying something profound, because I think you're kind of giving us a real open-eyed look at what it's like and what you see on the other side. So many questions coming up for our guest tonight. We'll include your questions as well when we come back from the break. Marilynn Hughes, out-of-body teacher, experiencer, author. Yes. What's it like to leave your body? Come tune in, and we'll tell you all about it in an hour or two. Beautiful first hour. Beautiful.
Oh, good. I'm glad you feel it.
I'm just gonna run my dogs outside. I'll be right back.
What
Okay.
to do? What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of
All right,
pure
we
hard
got
rock.
6 minutes.
Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spicing up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
Hi there, this is the paranormal lawyer Michael W. Hall. I'd like to invite you to listen in each Sunday night where we're going to open up your eyes to everything strange and paranormal. I will be hosting some great guests with topics that affect us all, such as UFOs, ghosts, and everything paranormal. Let's learn together on Spaced Out Radio Sunday with myself, Michael W. Hall, the paranormal lawyer at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at mightymoosebeard.com today.
The party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother is watching.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Hi, this is Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we store all of the SOR show archives for free. And as an added bonus, every 2 weeks I'm posting brand new content on Cryptid Tales.
I am back.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Are you having a good time?
Yeah. How are you doing there?
I am loving
having
this.
A good time?
I am loving this.
Awesome. Good. Fantastic.
All right. We've got just under 2 minutes here. 1 minute to go.
Okay.
All right, about 40 seconds. All right. Thank you to Science Bob and Jenny for the super chats tonight. Really appreciate it. We're kicking off hour 2 here of the show. Remember, you can check out our website, spacedoutradio.com. Join the Space Travelers Club for $5 a month. And here we go.
Dave Scott. Follow Dave.
Hey, Human Carl. Human Carl's here, everyone.
Facebook,
Dark Hour, good to have you here. Welcome back to hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to spend with us. We welcome back everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates across North America and on the digital side on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. Remember, you can check out all of our archives for free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Hylomorphism. Hylomorphism is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show and on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. We are talking about the out-of-body experience tonight. Marilynn Hughes joins us. She's the author of 101 books. Yeah. Where she finds the time to write these, I have no idea. I don't think she sleeps, because if she's not writing, she's out of body. Her website, outofbodytravel.org. Marilynn, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
I'd love to start this hour off with a question from Jules here. And she is asking, are the beings you encounter all trustworthy teachers, or can they be not so nice at times?
Well, when I'm talking about the ones who are teachers, they are trustworthy beings, but absolutely you have to learn discernment, because you can be deceived in the out-of-body travel state, and you do have to be careful about those who come to you and just claim to be a spiritual guide. Yes, you are very correct in saying that those have to be very carefully discerned. Even someone who might come to you and appear as an angel or any manner of things. My books talk a lot about discernment, and I have a couple of books that are very helpful on those matters in the Mystic Knowledge series on spiritual warfare, angels and demons, and ghosts and lost souls. And those types of things are very important, because you can be deceived. Absolutely.
How do you know? How do you tell?
Well, ironically, there's a few different ways that you test the spirits, so to speak. There's the biblical method, where you ask them specifically, do you believe in Jesus Christ, who came down from heaven, was incarnate of the Virgin Mary? And it's from the book of John. And this is one of the methods. There's a lot of people are familiar with that. And you ask them that. If they answer, if they are a legitimate spirit, they will answer that in the affirmative, and you'll be fine. If they are not, they will turn away and will not be able to stand that test. Other questions you can ask of the similar nature are, were you sent here on behalf of God? Are you here? Did the Lord Jesus Christ send you here to teach me? Are you here on behalf of the Lord Jesus Christ? Are you here on behalf of God to teach me? And these questions are really important. I'll tell you why, because even those that we love, like for instance, deceased relatives, can come with incorrect motivations sometimes, because not even necessarily bad intentions, just incorrect motivations, because they are looking at their own self-serving interests or something. We have to ask those questions. So if you ask that question and a soul has not been sent by God there to you, they will usually lower their head, turn and walk away, or they will disappear. If it's a demonic thing, oftentimes they'll get agitated and, turn into something else, black dust or a skeleton or something nasty and have to leave. But they will have to leave. If it is a spirit that is coming from God, they will often thank you for offering the discernment of spirits, because that is something that we are actually guided to do in the out-of-body travel states. The discernment of spirits is something that we're supposed to do, and we're encouraged to do it for this very reason. So it's an important thing to do. One of the things that I remember having years ago, and this is why I bring up the issue of even those that we love can just make suggestions. A person that I had loved who had passed on had come and told me it was time to go, trying to indicate that I should go with them. And I asked them, did Jesus Christ send you? And he looked down, turned and walked away. And it was a personal desire. And, we have to remember that those that we love who have crossed over are still now of another world than we are. And so it wasn't time for me to do that. And I don't know if that's making sense, but what I'm trying to get across is that you have to do that discernment. So you ask specifically, because if a spirit has come with the behest of God himself, then you're good. If they're coming from anything else, it's going to be tainted. It's going to be anything that they say could be partly true, partly false. A lot of people will communicate with just wandering spirits, ghosts, lost souls, or whatever, and think that just the nature of being discarnate makes them a wise person or makes what they say have any value, and it really doesn't. Just dying doesn't make someone wise. So we have to do the discernment, which requires us to make sure that the messenger is actually a messenger from on high. And that is very important. There's a lot more to this. It's very hard to, really summarize that. But that's very, very important.
All right. Question coming from Chris Moe. Can you meet up with entities in the astral plane? And I want to add to that. Can you meet up with other people who are currently astral traveling or out of body?
Yes, you can. Absolutely. And people do it all the time. And I know a lot of people who actually do that with intention, and they meet with their friends, in other parts of the country or world or whatever. So yes, you can. And yeah, absolutely.
All right. That's good. What happens if you run into somebody who's astral traveling or out of body, and maybe they don't even know? Maybe they're sound asleep and they don't even know, and you run into them.
Well, that's what I would call subconscious astral. So if they aren't going to remember it, that's fine. So you're going to have an interaction that is not going to be remembered on their part. One of the things that you're going to find early on, if you're doing this for the purposeful motivation, is that you will be meeting that person for some type of alteration of some type. So in a normal circumstance like that, there would be something going on that was of a purposeful nature, an alteration that needed to happen subconsciously for that soul that you might be a part of, you might be hastening or enabling or aiding in, and they would not remember it, but it would be something that would in some way assist them in their conscious waking life later. If it's just, this random thing of where you're just meeting up and it's like, oh, hey, then okay, you'd meet and that would be it. And there wouldn't be anything more to it. You know what I mean?
Still be weird.
But there is.
It'd still be weird, though. Let me ask a silly question, but just out of mild curiosity. When you astral travel,
sure.
Are you wearing clothes?
Yes. You usually manifest wearing some type of clothing. So yes, but you manifest them. So it's different than, you know what I mean? It's a spiritual attire, but it's whatever, you're going to look like you're wearing clothing. Yes.
All right. So just in case you go to bed with nothing on and you were butt naked in bed, like many people do sleep naked. When you go on an out of body experience adventure, don't worry about it because your bits are not going to be shown to anybody.
Well, I mean, I can't say that won't ever happen, but I can say that I've never really seen that happen. I mean, there are places in different mystical spheres where nakedness is honored, but that has to do with, some of the higher Sophia initiations. So it's different. But I think what you're talking about is probably just kind of being more worried about more of a vanity thing. But I haven't really seen that. So I doubt it. I think people probably manifest wearing clothes even if they're going to bed naked. I've just guessed that. But I mean, I can't say it never happened because I guess it could. If someone really wants to manifest naked, they probably could,
I hear you. Let's go to G-Girl's question here. She is asking, Marilynn, would you know what the shimmery, iridescent, formless beings are? I once saw one in a dream, but it felt very familiar and very real.
Well, there are a lot of different types of shimmery, formless beings and iridescent beings. So it kind of depends on which one she's referring to. But, like, for instance, there are the golden angels, and they are golden and shimmery and iridescent and formless. There's also other types that are more ephemeral, that are like silverish, and these are of a different order. They're more of a spiritual guardian type nature. They're a lower order than the golden angels. And these are, they would be more what I would consider, these are the beings of oneness that are around a lot. These, one of the biggest things that people will learn in the very, very beginning of their journeys will be about oneness, learning about the oneness of consciousness and of all life. And so a lot of people will see those ones first, and they are very much like that, the silvery, shimmering, iridescent beings. And those ones are teachers of oneness. But there are a lot of beings that she could be referring to that fit that description. So it could be any number of different types of beings. It could be, it really could be any number. Any kind of another type of angel. It could be another type of even like another type of teacher, another type of guardian, another type of there's an area of these beings that are known as thought adjusters, and those are the ones that actually work on the thoughts of humankind. They try to alter the thinking so that we move our thinking towards a higher order. There's so many different ones. But, a lot of them look that way. So the ones, as long as they're shimmering and iridescent, you're probably looking at something like that. But even ghosts can look that way. You know what I mean? So any type of spirit outside of its body can have that kind of an appearance. So just depending on what you're dealing with. One of the ways that is this is what you learn through mystical training, is how to discern energetically what you're dealing with, because that's how you learn is what they are energetically, and so that's how you would find that out. But that's something you learn energetically and mystically.
Makes sense. All right, let's move on. Julie is asking, when you are out of body, is your body asleep?
Usually, yes. Yes, your body is usually in a deep state of sleep. Mm-hmm.
All right, could that be also, what if you're in meditation? Does that work as well?
Usually, if you're going to go out of body, your body will end up in a deeper state of sleep, because your body has to kind of be in that deep level of consciousness in order for the soul to actually disconnect. And that's one of the reasons why I always tell people to meditate lying down if they want to practice for out-of-body travel, because once you actually disconnect from the body, you don't want to have that jolt, because if you're in a seated position, you're going to fall, and that's going to knock you out of that deep level of consciousness and break the experience. So, yes, meditation is definitely leads to that, but then your body will go into a very, very deep state of sleep in order to reach the out-of-body travel state, yes.
All right. Fitness Girl is asking, Marilynn, have you ever been stopped from going to any place out of body?
Well, one of the things I was shown early on was that, and it's a very important lesson, which is that when you are not compatible to a place, if your energy or your vibrations are not high enough, you will feel as if you are being crushed if you try to go there, if it's higher than where you're compatible. I learned this early on because I was going through what are called vibrational raisings, and I didn't understand their purpose. And so early on, I was shown that if you tried to enter into a higher sphere, you felt like you were being crushed. And so that would probably be the only time that I recall. There are other times that you might be hindered from going into spaces like in certain lower spheres if it's dangerous for you or anything like that. But one of the reasons you will go through the vibrational raisings is to prepare you for higher realm travel and to prepare you for the travel through the lower and higher realms, and so that you will not experience that. But yes, you do have that's absolutely a real thing. You have to go through certain rites of passage and initiations in order to pass into the next realm, so to speak. And this happens literally hundreds and thousands of times. There are lots and lots and lots of passages from one level of being into the next. And so we are not allowed to go into the next sphere until we have passed all of the tests of the previous one. And so there are things that we're not allowed to see until we're ready.
All right, let's move on to Michael's question, as we got about 4.5 minutes left before we got to go to break at the bottom of the hour. Marilynn Hughes is our guest. Out-of-body experience is what we are talking about. Michael is asking, Marilynn, can you encounter yourself on a different plane or time of existence or different timeline?
Oh, great question.
I love this question.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a great question. Absolutely, to all of those. Yes, you can encounter your highest self, which is the part of your soul that resides the closest to God, which has the knowledge of all of your selves, which means all of your previous personalities, your previous lifetimes, and your, past, future, present, parallel lifetimes. You can encounter your previous lifetimes and experience those lifetimes. You re-experience them. You absolutely, one of the things I also experienced was what I was shown as the sacred hoop, which was experiencing when I was very young. I experienced my older self when meeting my younger self. And I was young at the time, so it was my younger self meeting my older self, and we were completing this link up. It was really important in order for me to achieve my mission. But absolutely, I've had all these experiences with my higher self and with many of my different lifetimes. And these connections can be very, very important for us to actually obtain the energy and the wisdom that we need from all of these different aspects of our many lifetimes and personalities, so that we can actually achieve what we came here to overcome or do differently than we've done in the previous lifetimes we've lived, because we usually have habitual behaviors that we're coming here to overcome or change or do different. And so, yes, all of those, yes, you absolutely can, and you absolutely do. It's a huge part of the ritual passage that we go through in the out-of-body experience.
All right. I was just wondering about that, because there are many people out there who claim they have met with their previous selves in different dimensions or timelines. Some people have said that they've met in more evil rendering of themselves. Some people have stated that they have met a wealthy person in their phenomena. Are we bouncing through the same timelines with connections to our other selves?
Well, what we can do is we have, I'm not sure I understand your question.
Okay, so let me rephrase. Let me rephrase here. Okay,
sure.
If you can, like you stated, go to different timelines or different dimensions while out on Astral.
Sure.
Okay, and if the theory is correct that we can visit ourselves in other timelines or dimensions, what happens if we run into somebody who is, say, ourselves, but maybe a little bit more successful or a little bit more famous or a little bit more downtrodden or a little bit more evil? Are we connected with that person in the other realm?
Yes, absolutely. And the reason why that's important is because ironically, when you go into the initiations into the mysteries, there is a point at the end of that huge, huge passage where all of your lifetimes join with you through your higher self, and all of that knowledge comes into your current vessel, which is your current body and your current soul, so that you contain that knowledge from those existences. So those lifetimes where you were richer, or where you were downtrodden, or where you were terribly sick, or where you went through something horribly violent, all of those experiences are actually, elements of the knowledge and the wisdom, and that energy is important for your soul to contain.
Right.
So all of that, yes.
All right, Marilynn, hold it right there. We're going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. Marilynn Hughes, Out of Body Experience, continues next on Spaced Out Radio. That's a good half hour. Good, strong questions from the audience tonight. Very strong.
Yeah, great questions.
Absolutely. Now, YouTube, I will not be able to either scroll down if you're chatting away there, because I'm stuck on Nikki's question right now. Stuck. Excuse me. So basically what I'm saying is if I move my mouse to catch up in the chat room, I'm going to lose Nikki's question, which I may have to do anyways. I'll try and get it back, Nikki. I'll try and get it back. All right. We ask this every night on this show to our guests. We ask 2 questions away from the radio side.
Okay.
Question number 1. Do you eat breakfast for dinner?
Oh, yes. And for lunch, for whatever part of the day I feel like eating it. Yes, I do.
Okay. Let's see what else. The second question is, are you familiar with the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
Yes.
Okay. Devil's Tower, where the aliens land, the big, rock thing.
Yeah.
Is it a rock? Are you on Team Rock or are you on Team Tree Stump?
I don't know. I think I'll go with the rock. That's a guess. Total guess.
Oh, in Dave's world, you're 0 for 2. The audiences, you're probably 1 and 1. And for some of the audience, you're probably 2 and 0.
Okay.
Yes. I know. The audience is screwed up. They're screwed up. Just a little bit of fun that we love to do around here. Little bit of fun.
Fun is fun.
Yes. Let's see. We have Nick saying yes, because I think he's on Team Rock. And Chris Mo is yelling, no, on Team... Yeah. The people I have to deal with. The people I have to deal with. I love them. I love them. All right. We've got just under 3 minutes here. Hi, Redheaded Lisa. Good to have you here. We have a ton of Lisas in here. She's the only Lisa, but just in case a second Lisa comes in, we can call her Redheaded Lisa and tell them apart. It's like Human Carl. Our mascot's an alien named Carl, and we don't want people getting confused with Human Carl, Alien Carl. I mean, people could get messed up with that, so we just call him Human Carl just in case somebody, gets confused.
Yeah.
That's what we do around here. We care. We care.
It's important.
Absolutely.
It's important to, separate the two Carls.
Exactly.
Because, Alien Carl is, Alien Carl.
Exactly. Hi, Gnome Squatch. Hi, Larry. Good to have you back, guys. Thank you so much. All right, we've got just over 90 seconds. And let's see. We'll just continue on here. I don't know where we're going this hour, but hell, I never know where we're going in any hour, so it just makes it for more fun.
Yeah. It's always good to go on that journey.
Truth.
Yeah. Taking the journey.
Andrew is asking, Dave, how long does it take you to prepare for an interview? I get into the studio at about 7:30, but it's usually in the morning during my daytime job when I am... when I have a few minutes, that's when I start just kind of perusing through the guest, the subject. If it's a frequent guest that we have on the show, I may cut that back to about an hour and a half, and that'll be right before showtime. So that's kind of what I do. It works for me. I don't recommend it. But if you look at my whole notepad here, I have 0 questions prepared for the guest. I think George Knapp was the last guest I had that I actually had questions prepared for. So, and that was last year. All right, here we go, everyone. Second half of the show kicking off right now. We pass the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Reminder to all of you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Follow us on our website, spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including Rocking Out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. You can follow us on Instagram. What is that now? Oh, yeah, because we just got a brand new one. At Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Tonight we are talking out-of-body experiences. What's it like to leave your body and go anywhere you want to go? Our guest tonight, Marilynn Hughes. Her website, outofbodytravel.org. Highly suggest you check it out. Her videos, which are on YouTube. She's got like 101 books. I'm not even exaggerating. 101 books out there regarding this subject. The lady is brilliant when it comes to out of body and so much more. Marilynn, welcome back.
Thanks, Dave.
Brilliant. Did you hear that? Yeah, I know.
That was very nice of you, but thank you.
Well, that's the kind of guy I am. All right. So we're right in the middle of a bunch of questions from our audience here, and I want to continue with those because I think there's some real good ones here, and I love it when the audience steps up and kind of almost takes control of the show. It makes my job easier. Not that I'm lazy or anything, but they always have a different perspective of where they want to go with things and hear the answers, and that's why it's important that we kind of bring those up. And speaking of which, Nikki is asking, what's your version of demonic, your description of demon versus an evil spirit?
Well, let's see. Demonic is actually an order of being, and an evil spirit would be a spirit that is of a nature of being. So, for instance, you have orders of when you deal with, and I wrote about this in the Mysteries of the Redemption, how to discern some of these things. So when you're dealing with darkness, you're dealing with levels of darkness. So you have ignorance, you have dominant darkness, and you have evil. So ignorance is when you have a being that commits acts of evil, but they're not out of intent. They are out of ignorance. They are out of literally an honest ignorance, not an intentional ignorance, an honest ignorance. Dominant darkness is when a being chooses darkness, knows they're choosing it, and it's more of a convenience issue just because it's just better for them. Evil is a different grade. You're taking it to a different level where evil actually enjoys causing harm to others. So that is where you are at this order of evil. A demonic spirit is an order of being. Just as you have hierarchies of angels, a demonic spirit is actually a different type of being. And so I hope that's helpful.
All right. Let's go over to Twitter where we got a couple of questions. John is asking, could you talk about, please, about getting past the vibration stage? It's kind of scary the first time.
Yes, it is. And, it's scary because it is so powerful. So the key with the vibrational stage, very important here, is now that you've experienced it, you know how powerful it is. This is where we pull in the discipline. you have to pull in this is where meditation, this is where concentration are key, because what breaks the vibrational state is any type of sudden startlement, any kind of surprise, any type of, if you get excited or even fear as you've experienced. So if you're in the vibrational state and you're going to go forward, or even in the initial stages of an out-of-body experience, any of those emotions are going to shoot you right back to your body. So what you learn to do, and you can practice this in your meditation practice towards the vibration state, is literally moving through the vibrational state with absolute equanimity. So you want to discipline your mind that you are going to remain absolutely calm and equanimous while you move through that vibrational state. You're not going to respond with startlement, with surprise, with excitement. You're going to contain that state. And when you're able to do that, then you will be able to move through that vibrational state to the point where you will be able to either roll out of your body or will yourself out and move around the room. And that's where you will start to the next level. Again, though, when you're out, any kind of startling, any kind of excitement, is going to throw you right back in. And this is very common in the beginning. A lot of people will report, even when you see somebody, for instance, someone you love who has passed on, you're going to be very excited, and it's going to throw you right back. And this is a very common thing. People will say, oh my gosh, and I got so excited, and then I immediately, got thrown back in my body, and I didn't get to hear what they had to say. So you want to practice this equanimity where you discipline your mind to go through it in a steady way. And it's hard to do, but you can do it. You can absolutely do it. And you practice that in your meditation so that when you get into the vibrational state, you can do this in a very steady, still way, and try not to have any type of extreme reaction up or down. Move right through it, right through that vibrational state. It's like going through water.
Interesting. I would have never thought about that. Never thought about that. All right, let's move on.
It's a very important step, yeah.
Let's move on here.
Step, yeah.
Jenny is asking, hi, Jenny. Did you get to look into your own past lives, or can you when you were in out of body?
Absolutely. And in fact, not only do you look into them, you'll go through the time tunnel and you actually get dropped into them and you re-experience them. You re-experience them as if you are right there. You feel everything. You re-experience everything. You even re-experience some very intense things. So absolutely you do. Very powerful stuff. Yeah.
All right. Andrew is asking, is there a way to activate the astral travel before you go to sleep?
You can set the intention. You set the intention and you can, engage in the type of prayer or meditation, spiritual reading that you want to do to increase the likelihood that you're going to go into this state. It's all about the practice that you are engaging in before you go to bed at night, and also the practice that you continue throughout the day. There are a lot of different kinds of things that you can utilize, as you're going to sleep as well, So you can utilize different types of meditation techniques. What I recommend for people is generally a very simple mindfulness meditation technique where you focus on the breath. That is the most effective thing that I have found for this. You focus on the breath and just try to not worry about your thoughts. And so if you can practice a little bit of the mindfulness technique, and then practice that as you go to sleep. That is one of the things that you can do. There's a lot of other suggestions you can follow. I have a whole series of like 9 books on the how-tos. Come to Wisdom's Door. We'll give you a lot of details. I just released a book called Astral Projection Made Easy. Sorry, I just released it, so I don't remember. But that one is also, it gives you a lot of stuff that you can focus on as, right before you're going to try to do your practice. And so there's actually, so it makes it 10 books on on how to do the out-of-body experiences. But they literally go in succession towards the deeper and deeper practice of the out-of-body experiences. So there's a lot of different things you can do. Spiritual reading is really important in the practice of out-of-body travel. A lot of people forget that one. People know about prayer and meditation, but spiritual reading is very important. One of the biggies that the prophets, saints, mystics, and sages from all the ages have talked about, it's a big part of the spiritual practice, which helps get your spirit, your mind, your soul ready to go.
All right.
So throw that into your practice.
All right. One comment and one question here. John says he had just asked a question about the vibration stage. He says, your answer was awesome. Perfect. Could not have been more clear or more helpful. Thank you so much. And Greco is asking, and Greco owns a Greek restaurant in Toronto somewhere, and so he's a Maple Leafs fan, and we just don't really trust them around here. But anyways, he is asking, does bacon still make everything better in the astral plane?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Woo!
Boy, I wish I had some right now.
Great question. Great question. Probably the best question he's ever asked a guest.
Yes, it's a great question. Yes.
All right. Good to know. Good to know. Chris is asking, have you ever heard or met an entity called the Great Gardener?
I have not.
All right. Well, I think that's a pretty self-explanatory answer there. Let's go to Fitness Girl, who is asking, have you ever had glimpses of the future while out of body?
Yes. And, one of the things about that is really important for people to understand is, we have what's called the management realm that people look into, which is where things are forming in our thoughts, words, and deeds. This is where a lot of psychics touch into when they're looking into what might be coming to pass. And so it's a very common thing for people to be able to touch into that and see things that might come to pass. But this is also why sometimes those things might change or alter. And you can learn a lot about that in a book called Medicine Woman Within a Dream as to how these things can alter or why they might alter. But it's important to be open to these types of messages about things that might be coming to pass in your future, because you can change them when they're in that management realm. They're not set in stone. And so, a lot of people have these types of premonitionary types of events, and it's important for people to know they can be altered at that point.
Right. Jules is asking, what's the difference then between out of body and lucid dreaming?
Lucid dreaming is a different level of consciousness, and it's a different type. It's kind of a part of your brain that's operating, rather than like when you're dealing with out of body travel. It's actually your soul is actually on the move, so to speak. So lucid dreaming is a little bit more of a mix there. You're dealing with more of your brain activity, versus out of body travel is a soul experience. Lucid dreaming is also a soul experience because your brain processes things that are going on in your life, so it's still important. It's very important. It's just a different process.
All right. Well, let's just move on here. We got about 8 minutes to go before we got to go to break at the top of the hour. Chris is asking, do you believe in something like the world soul, Gaia, Paja, Mama?
I do believe that the earth has consciousness. Absolutely, yes. One of the things you'll experience in the out-of-body travel state is the fact that all things have some kind of consciousness. Even inanimate objects contain consciousness. And, all the souls, and like the yogis and things like that have talked about that for thousands of years. But absolutely, the earth absolutely has consciousness, as do all the planets, and all things have it. All things have consciousness. It's just different types of consciousness.
Right. I get that. Okay. Fitness Girl is asking, when you are out of body, are all your senses working, like smells and sounds?
That's a good question, because what actually happens is everything is heightened. So, everything that you normally sense is so much higher. So the colors are brighter, more vibrant. The things that you hear are more beautiful. The things that you smell and taste are just much more fragrant and beautiful. And the things you taste, of course, it's just everything is heightened. So yes, you absolutely do. And you actually do feel, temperature, all those kinds of things. Everything is heightened.
All right. Dark Hour is asking, I have heard that certain places are off limits even on the astral plane, example, the moon. Some report an energetic webbed wall of sorts preventing them to enter that area. Marilynn, have you ever experienced this?
I have not experienced there being places that I could not go to. I've been to the moon and to a lot of different places and a lot of different planets. But that does not mean that there aren't places that you cannot go that I have not, tried to go to, So, so it's important to know that just because I haven't experienced it doesn't mean that others have, So, they might have gone to a different part of the moon. You know what I'm saying? So I have not experienced that. I do know that there are restrictions for different levels of, the hierarchies in terms of the spiritual spheres, as to it sounds like that might be more related to alien technology or even governmental technologies. And I've heard people talking about things like that, and I'm sure that that's possible.
All right. Owner is asking, recent developments in remote viewing studies show that there is no time-space restriction in viewing. Is there any connection between remote viewing and out-of-body experience?
There is, but it's not the same thing at all. I've learned remote viewing. Remote viewing is a very different modem. It is extremely different. Out-of-body travel is truly soul travel, whereas remote viewing is more of a psychic faculty. So a very, very different mechanism by which you do either of these things. Very different.
Annie is asking, I had an experience as a child and did not go past the ceiling. I will always remember the force returning back into my body. Do you know about that type of experience? What it's about?
Yes. Well, what probably happened was, a lot of times when you have that experience where you leave the body and you're in the room and you didn't go past the ceiling, you were not prepared to pass through the ceiling because it is tighter vibrationally than air, and you hadn't yet learned how to do that, so it wouldn't have been something you would have been able to do. And so in your first experience like that, you would not have been able to maybe permeate the matter. And yeah, there would have been possibly a very quick rush back to the body once you realized you were out, which is very typical when someone just realizes, oh my gosh, I'm out of my body. And then whoosh, that's that excitement I talked about, like, or the fear of it, or even just the startlement of it that happens that all of a sudden you're back in. That can happen.
All right. Chris is asking, how important is a healthy body for astral or out-of-body travel?
It's not important at all. It's ironically, sometimes for people, ironically, for me, I was actually terminally ill for like 10, 15 years, and then I had a miraculous recovery. One of the things about having serious illness is that you're kind of riding the gateway between life and death, so it makes things like out-of-body travel just a little bit easier in a sense, So it really is not relevant. It is, it's just whether, you can experience this whether you're healthy or not. And so definitely, I don't think you should feel like it's something you won't experience if you're not healthy.
Oh.
In fact, ironically, sometimes people who are not healthy may be more inclined to experience it sometimes.
All right, let's move on to Jules here, who is asking, why can you not bring this omniscient knowledge back with you when you land?
Part of that is that what we are doing, and this is one of the things I was told many times, is that what we're doing is every time that we go, we're bringing a portion of it back. And so we're bringing part of heaven back to earth every time we go. So we're bringing a little bit of it back, but just not all of it. And part of that is because we're not God. We're just this little vessel. And so we can't really contain it in this human form that we have. So we bring back little parts and portions of it. And that is a very important part of it, that we continue to do that, because every time that we go out of body and then return, we're bringing a piece of heaven back to earth. And that is of great value, even if that is just an energetic aspect of heaven that we're bringing back to earth, even if it's not something that we bring back as some type of knowledge that we can put into words. If it's energetic, it's still of great value. So it is hard to explain, but hopefully that helps you to understand it better.
All right, we got 45 seconds here. Let's sneak in one more question. Andrew is asking, what does breathing underwater mean in a dream?
Breathing underwater in a dream, to me, I would guess that it is indicative that he's getting a sense that he is in the ether. And the ether can have this, it's a similarity to water, the ether being the spiritual air that you have in the out-of-body travel state. So it's very similar sometimes to breathing underwater. And so he may actually be remembering little portions of an out-of-body experience where he is breathing underwater, but it's actually the ether.
Interesting. Very interesting. Marilynn, I'm going to get you to hold on here because we are officially 2 hours down, 1 hour to go on Spaced Out Radio tonight. Marilynn Hughes continues to take your questions and mine on out-of-body travel. And we will continue with that. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, we have the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Day. Stay tuned. More Spaced Out Radio coming up. Marilynn, I'm just going to run my dogs outside again, and I'll be right back, okay?
No worries.
Thank you.
Looking for creative ways to get your company out in the public? How about advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Our sales department is waiting to hear from you, and we can work around any budget. From commercial spots to banners to special promotions, there are many opportunities to get your name and product out to our SOR listeners. For a price guide and more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
Hi there, this is the paranormal lawyer Michael W. Hall. I'd like to invite you to listen in each Sunday night where we're going to open up your eyes to everything strange and paranormal. I will be hosting some great guests with topics that affect us all, such as UFOs, ghosts, and everything paranormal. Let's learn together on Spaced Out Radio Sunday with myself, Michael W. Hall, the paranormal lawyer at spacedoutradio.com.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, Space Travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckard, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get bumblefucked?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajons.com.
Hey, Space Travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little different.
I am back.
We're
we
not
have
some
just over 2 minutes
faceless
left.
Cool.
Yeah. Flown on by.
What?
All right, so when we get to break at the bottom of the hour, I'll say goodnight to you on the air, and then just hold on till we go to break. Then I'll say goodnight to you properly when we're into break here.
Okay. Okay, cool.
All right, we got about 90 seconds. All right, we got just over 1 minute left.
Okay.
All right, 30 seconds. Well, 35 seconds. Mm-hmm. And hour 3 coming up. Remember, good way to support what we do on Spaced Out Radio is by joining our Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month. Not 10, not 15 like some other shows out there. Not even 7, just $5 a month. And you could support us as well by going to our SOR vault on our website, picking up some swag that we have available for you. Here comes hour 3.
Head to spacedoutradio.com
Music
for
is
all
on.
your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio is underway tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate you taking the time out to be with us on a nightly basis. We welcome back everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates across North America and on the digital side on Revolution Radio and TalkStream Live. Remember, all of our archives are free for you at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Hylomorphism. Hylomorphism is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Instagram, Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. For the final time tonight, we introduce Marilynn Hughes. She's got a great website called outofbodytravel.org. She has been studying out-of-body experiences well over the last 3 to 4 decades. That's a lot of research. She's even written 101 books on the subject. This is incredible information that we are getting tonight. Marilynn, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me, Dave.
Oh, it's been a lot of fun. It has been really a lot of fun. And let me see here.
Yeah.
Fitness Girl, we're going to continue with some audience questions here because they are loaded up here tonight, and they're pretty solid questions. So I'm just going to continue with them if you don't mind.
Sure. They're great.
All right. Fitness Girl is asking, do extraterrestrials have out-of-body experiences?
Well, I would imagine so. But you know, what you have with extraterrestrials is that, you know, some of them are interdimensional beings, and, you know, some of them also interact with us in the out-of-body travel state. So they're working with us in the out-of-body travel state. So they're doing this from a higher and more advanced space of understanding of soul travel. So, you know, there's a lot to that. But, you know, there's so many different civilizations. There's not just one. And they're all very different. And they're at different levels of evolution as well. So, absolutely they do. And they do it better and greater than we do.
All right. Marty, one of our favorite veterans who listens to this show. We love our veterans around here. Thank you for your service, Marty.
We sure do.
Marty is asking, when you astral travel, do you ever wake up tired?
Absolutely. You do wake up tired a lot of the time. Sometimes you wake up really, really energized, depending on what you've been doing. Now, for instance, when you're engaged in spiritual warfare, you're going to wake up really tired. It really depends on what you've been doing. It just really depends on what you've been doing. Sometimes if you've been traveling through time and you've gone through past lives, that are heavy duty, you're going to wake up very, very tired. Yes, you will. Certain types of experiences. If you go to the higher spheres, oftentimes you'll be very, very energized when you come back. If you have to deal with some of the more difficult stuff, you can wake up very, very exhausted.
All right. Let's go to Annie here, who is asking, I left my body as a child but did not go past the ceiling. Why was I stopped?
Well, probably because you weren't ready to go further. The travel that we experience happens in a lot of stages. So where you experienced that is exactly what I would expect for a first or second or even third or fourth time experience. It happens in stages. You usually go through a lot of steps where you learn how to move through the ceiling, through the walls or the windows. And then you learn how to travel in the astral realm. And then you start learning about corridors and traveling through corridors. And so if it was just like a random experience and it was once or even just a few times, you weren't necessarily stopped. It was just that you had just the one experience or the few experiences and you didn't go any further than that. If you were to pursue it further, you might be able to take it a little bit further.
All right. Cable Guy Matt is asking, is the pineal gland used to leave your body?
I've never had to use that to do that. I've never, and the people that I teach and stuff, it's not something that we need to use. So, I know that some people do, so that's fine, but I don't need to. I don't think it's necessary is what I guess I would say.
I love this question from Andrew in the United Kingdom. Good morning, Andrew. And he is asking, point blank, if you could see the future in out-of-body experiences, how could anybody miss what's happening in 2020?
Well, here's the answer, Andrew. They didn't. I was having visions about what was happening in these years in the 1990s, and the prophecies of the popes was prophesied by St. Malachi, and seeing this stuff in the Middle Ages. Pope John the 23rd was seeing this in the 1950s. We have people who were having visions with the Marian apparitions in the last 200 years about everything that's happening now. And many of the mystics in the last I'd say 500 to 2,000 years saw what was going to happen at these times, and in fact pinpointed the dates of 2027 to 2033. And I was specifically told 2026 to 2030, in the 90s, didn't know that there were all these other prophecies relating to this very specific time. And so the irony is that we just didn't pay attention to those ancient sacred texts to realize that they didn't miss it. We did. We didn't pay attention.
I hear you. Joe is asking, if you are astral traveling and somebody comes across your comatose body and rushes you to the hospital, do you come back to where your body was or where it is, which is now in the hospital?
Oh, you'll come back to it in the hospital, but generally your body is not comatose because you're out of body. If someone comes and tries to wake you up, you'll be rushed into, you'll wake up and you'll be pulled back into your body from wherever you are. So unless you're actually in a coma, a real coma for a genuine, life-threatening reason, you're not going to be in a coma because you're out of your body. So if someone tries to wake you up, they will be successful. So it's not a dangerous thing, because you have to remember again that this is a natural occurrence to all human souls and even animal souls. Watch this with your pets. We all do this while we're sleeping. It's a natural condition of the soul while we're sleeping. So when someone tries to wake you up, if you are out of body, you'll come back to your body.
All right. Well, this leads to Greco's question. Can you wake up in another body?
That's an interesting question. I've obviously never had that happen. And in my many years of research, I haven't heard of that happening, but I wouldn't say that it's impossible. I mean, you experience other lifetimes, you experience other things. It's not like you do these things permanently. You have these temporary journeys, We have heard of unusual cases like in T. Lobsang Rampa, where there is believed to have been, the spirit of a Tibetan Lama came into his body. We don't know. I think it's possible that can happen. I've never had that happen in my experience. I think it's highly unusual. But if you were to actually look over the entire body of knowledge and, in the history of the world, you'd probably find that it may have happened, at one time or another. You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. This leads to Jules' question. Is OBE confirmation of the many interacting worlds theory?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yes. When you have the out-of-body experience, you will actually experience the many interacting worlds. You're going to actually travel amongst them and actually experience it and participate in it and witness it and actually embody it, become a molecular part of it. Absolutely. Yes. You become it. It's such an amazing thing. It really is. Yes. Yeah. Good question.
Devin is asking, how many of me exist at one time in other dimensions, and can I drop into my body there? This kind of goes along what we asked a little bit earlier.
Well, that's an interesting question too, and I think the question is we don't really know. I don't think that we can comprehend that. But I think it could be anything. It could be infinite, really. But at the same time, we can drop into those things. We can drop into other parallels. But the only thing that is relevant is what parallels or what other portions should we drop into that have purpose for us to drop into. And when we travel out of body according to the will of God, we will be dropped into those times, those points in time that are relevant for our soul direction and our soul development. And that's what we want to focus on, because we can get caught up in, okay, I want to see it all. And that's fun, but what we want to do is focus on where it's purposeful. And by following the direction that we are given in the mystical training, we'll be taken exactly where we need to be and to what we need to see and experience in order to progress.
All right. Cable Guy Matt is asking, what's one future event from OBEs that we should probably know about?
Well, I think we're in it. It's this period of time that we are entering right now, which is a very important period of time in history from now until about 2035. This is going to be a very important time. We're going to have a lot of turmoil, a lot of tumult, and a possible time of great destruction, possibly wars and natural disasters, and things that we're seeing, kinds of things that we're seeing. And we all need to be prepared to, as what I was shown and many people have been shown, is to fulfill the function of our survival. If we are here and incarnate now at this time, we are here because we agreed to be here at this time to fulfill a certain function during this unique time in human history. So we want to be in a state of as much preparedness as we can to fulfill what we came here to do during this period.
Makes sense.
And so that requires, that requires a lot of prayerfulness and alertness to the times that we're looking at here.
All right. Sharon is asking, I have out-of-body experiences. I see aliens and ghosts, and I am constantly traveling into other dimensions. Is this normal? Or is this just part of who she is?
Well, I think it's normal. I think it's very normal. I think it's totally normal. And I think what we're finding here is that more and more people are becoming awake to what is normal and naturally latent. And these things are normal and naturally latent. And so she's just becoming conscious of these things that are naturally around us, that have been around us, that we just haven't been aware of. So her spiritual senses are awakening, and that is a good thing. And now what she can do with that is she can learn to cultivate them. And it's very important that we do cultivate them. One of the books that I wrote is called A Life of Cultivation, which is how do we take these spiritual gifts and cultivate them in the direction that they are intended to go, so that we actually utilize them for a higher purpose. And that's what I would suggest that she consider doing with these natural gifts. And other people who might be listening, these are the natural gifts that we're all becoming aware of, but we are to cultivate them. We want to utilize them in a focused and disciplined way so that they become useful. We don't want them to be thrown around haphazardly, because they do have the ability to be very, very useful, but we do have to utilize some things in order to harness those gifts more properly. And they're available. At my website, you can learn a lot about that, even through the course of study, which is totally free as well, about cultivating, and honing those gifts in that right direction.
All right. Nikki is asking, can other beings get into your body as you're in the astral plane?
That can happen. It's a little bit rare, but not totally rare. You do have to be careful, especially in the astral plane, and you do have to be very careful about things like ghosts, lost souls, wandering spirits, and of course anything lower than that, dark souls, evil spirits, anything like that. People who are messing around with things like Ouija boards or calling things up, anything that involves calling anything up, anything black magic, dark magic, anything calling on, bringing up things that are of any kind of a dark nature. You can bring things into your soul that can become attached to you. And in the astral planes, you can have spirits that can attach to you. And so there is a lot of things that you can do to protect yourself. And, among those are prayer. Probably, the simplest thing is our Lord's Prayer. Just if, to give someone to give your audience something to start with. But there are a lot of different things that you can utilize, and they're all, laid out in my books in terms of prayers, meditations, things that you can do with white light to protect yourself. But you want to do things with prayer to protect yourself. You have to be aware of that. Any of the lost type spirits are going to look for things to attach to, and you do have to be careful of that. And be very careful of the fact that they will go around and they like to trick, do this trickster thing where they kind of pretend that they're giving you good advice, and people will often think that that's like spiritual guide or something. This is where discernment is so important, because being disincarnate again is not in and of itself, something that gives you wisdom,
Greco is asking, can my astral spirit be summoned by a Ouija board? That's a cool question, actually.
That's an interesting question. I don't know. On that one, I honestly don't know. I would think that could be possible. I think it could be possible. I think a Ouija board is something that would be more likely to summon towards disincarnate spirits of the dead. But, that's an interesting question. I think it could be possible for sure. One of the things I would like to throw out there, though, for those who do utilize Ouija boards, think of what you're calling up, because when you're using a Ouija board, think about the hierarchy of the angelic kingdom. They don't respond to a Ouija board. The only things that respond to a Ouija board are lost souls, wandering spirits, or tricksters, or things like that. The hierarchy of the angelic kingdom, they respond to prayer. So if you're thinking by using a Ouija board that something of a higher nature is going to give you any guidance, you're incorrect. You're going to only be communicating with lower entities, and then you are bringing in things that could cause you harm. And so keep that in mind, and definitely that would be something if that happened, that would be a very, very negative thing to happen. And you would want to protect yourself from being summoned by anybody who would be calling you up by a Ouija board.
No kidding.
Sure.
No kidding, right? I mean, that's just my luck. That's just my luck right there.
Yeah.
I thought that was a fantastic question.
Just say no.
Yeah, just say no.
Yeah,
just let it go. Let it happen. All right. Marilynn Hughes is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Marilynn, we've only got about just over 90 seconds left with you tonight, and what a pleasure it has been to have this opportunity to speak with you on this show. Do me a favor over the next minute and a bit here, and tell everybody where they could find your books, where they could find more information on what you're all about, please.
Come to outofbodytravel.org. We're the Out of Body Travel Foundation. You can download all of our books for free under Out of Body Books. And we also have a free course of study. And there's a lot of things at the website that you can learn about, tons of video content as well. You can send me emails if you have questions. I welcome that. And so it's been great to be with you, Dave, and I love your audience. They've got great questions. It's been great to be on. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, no problem. No problem. We have had so much fun with you tonight, and really, it's a rare treat because normally we are usually talking about everything from aliens to Bigfoot to UFOs, and because of all the UFO movement that's been going on around the world lately, we've been really highly concentrating on that. But it's nice to have a break to go into a different topic, and to have somebody with your expertise and knowledge on this subject just makes us sound very, very well. So thank you so much for allowing us to have this opportunity with you.
Thank you, Dave.
I really appreciate that. Marilynn, you hold on as we're going to get ready to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. Coming up next on Spaced Out Radio, we got a jam-packed SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk has me absolutely ready to go for tonight. Some great stories out there. We also got the Thought of the Day happening as well. Stay tuned as we got a lot more show coming up right around the corner. Thank you, Marilynn. You were absolutely fantastic. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Dave. That was fun. That was nice. You got great guests. Listeners.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got a good-looking audience. They like high-quality hair and, some other weird stuff, but they're good people. They're good people. Let's give Marilynn a good clap here. Good job, Marilynn. Good job tonight.
Yeah, I love the question. Great question. Great question. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Great question. Okay,
Well, thank you
thanks
so
for
much.
having me on. It was great fun.
Take care, okay?
All right. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. I had a feeling this was going to be a good one, guys. I had a feeling. I predicted it before the show. I am psychic. Telling you. I am psychic. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Make sure that's on mute. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. All right, I think we're good. Oh, hey, Pharmacy, how you doing? Shanna Banana, Walter, good to have you back. Where y'all been hiding? I don't know. I do not know. I've been here. People. Our Keith, tomorrow night, are you guys ready? Oh. Speak up. Speak up. What? What do you want from me? Orange juice. Not the best I've ever had, but gets the job done. Do. 1 minute. 1 minute. Good, Cat Chaser. You shouldn't be able to buy breakfast at McDonald's after 10:30. What's really screwed up is at like 3 or 4 in the morning at McDonald's, you can't get breakfast. You still got to order burgers. That's what's screwed up. Excuse me. That's what I have in my fridge. Simply Orange. All right, we're going to do this thing.
Our 2019 at mightymoosebeard.com today.
Here we go. We've rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I'm your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I want to remind you that if you missed most of this show or others, check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio for the show and Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Speaking of the news, oh yeah, it's that time once again, everybody. The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR Newswire at the back end of every show, where we get to the weird, the strange, the wacky, and sometimes the celebratory, as it is World UFO Day in the world, and it comes at a time of heightened interest in the decades-long search to whether or not we are alone. Congress in the United States also wants to see what the Pentagon and the nation's intelligence agencies know about UFOs, not because extraterrestrials are involved, but because of concerns they might represent advanced technological threats from foreign adversaries. Oh, this guy's buying the narrative, isn't he? The Navy declassified 3 previously leaked top-secret U.S. videos in late April in an effort to clear up some of the misconceptions by the public on whether or not the footage that had been circulating was real or whether there were more videos or not, said Susan Goff, a Pentagon spokesperson. Oh, she tells the truth all the time. We've known that. Please note the sarcasm. The aerial phenomena observed in the videos remains uncharacterized as unidentified, the spokesperson said. First published by the New York Times in 2017, the video captured what fighter jets and pilots saw on their video sensors during training. The release of the Navy videos has sparked renewed interest from UFO researchers and the nation's lawmakers who want to know what else the government knows about UAPs and whether they might represent technological breakthroughs from American adversaries. 2 weeks ago, the Senate Intelligence Committee included language in the annual Intelligence Authorization Bill that would require U.S. intelligence agencies and the Pentagon to put together a detailed, unclassified analysis of all data collected on unidentified aerial phenomena. Will this happen? We still don't know. It has to be passed yet. The committee also disclosed that previously unknown UAP task force was operating within the Office of Naval Intelligence, which appears to be investigating UFO reports. The task force existence was a surprise because it was believed that the Pentagon had ceased investigating such reports in 2012 with the end of the program that was made public by the same Times article that was published on the videos. Remember I told you that? Remember I told you? Yeah, I told you that. Anyways, not that I'm patting myself on the back, but I told all of you that the program never ended. Strictly speaking, there should no longer be any debate about the existence of UFOs at all, says Alexander Wendt, an international relations professor at Ohio State University. If it wasn't already apparent to everyone that UFOs are real, the Navy confirmed the existence of at least 3 of them officially. Wendt, who has written about UFOs in the context of political and security implications, wants to see more videos released by the military, but he wants to see the scientific community undertake serious research on a subject matter that remains taboo to many scientists. The critical issue is getting some science done on these things, said Wendt, since while new UFOs will undoubtedly be surprising, until we have some UFO science, we won't know what we're dealing with, if anything at all. Strange one here in British Columbia. Dozens of dead sea lions wash up on Canada's shores every year. Lately, though, here on the West Coast, some have been missing their heads. And while it's not quite the story of Ichabod Crane and the legend of Sleepy Hollow, it's presenting a bit of a mystery. Residents on Vancouver Island have spotted several headless sea lions, and this has been going back since May. Then, this past weekend, photos of headless sea lions taken by a Nanaimo resident made headlines once again. One resident in nearby Parksville, hey, that's where I started my radio career, even spotted a man taking hours to decapitate an already dead sea lion, then throw away and walk away with the skull on a homemade raft. A spokesperson for Fisheries and Oceans said the department is monitoring the incidents closely. While the one example seems clear, where are these headless corpses coming from? Dr. Martin Helena, head veterinarian at the Vancouver Aquarium and Ocean Wise, has rescued dozens of stranded marine animals, including several sea lions suffering from gunshot wounds. 6 months ago, he tended to a sea lion that had been shot with a crossbow. Cutting off the head to hide evidence, such as a gunshot wound, for instance, would be a criminal act. He says he thinks that the most likely scenario is that someone finds a dead sea lion carcass. They often get bloated and then float to shore and decide to cut off its head as a trophy. My concern, he says, would be more if someone had purposely killed the animal. That does not seem to be the case from what I understand right now. He said that certain sharks, such as the Greenland shark and sleeper sharks, do attack seals and sea lions head first, but that's probably not what's happening here. It's also unlikely that sea lions are being decapitated by accident, for instance, by the propeller of large boats. Sea lion heads are a sought-after commodity. Thomas Seawood believes the report recently of headless sea lions are evidence of people taking advantage of a growing underground market for sea lion skulls. Seawood, a member of one of the First Nations bands of Vancouver Island, he's actually been a guest on this show talking Bigfoot. He says he has received more than 120 emails in recent months from taxidermy enthusiasts interested in buying a sea lion skull. Right now, there's a big demand and there's no legal supply, said Seawood. A male stellar sea lion skull with all of its teeth intact goes for about $4,000 in the underground market. Terrible. The Washington Redskins are reportedly stuck at FedEx Field unless the NFL organization decides to change its name. The team is looking to move to a new stadium in the near future, but their relocation from Maryland to RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C. now hinges on the organization's willingness to change its name. Government officials echoed the same message. I call on Dan Snyder once again to face the reality, since he does still desperately want to be in the nation's capital, D.C.'s non-voting House Rep Eleanor Holmes Norton said. He has got a problem he can't get around, and he particularly can't get around it today after the George Floyd killing. D.C. Deputy Mayor John Falcicino agreed with Norton. There is no viable path locally or federally for the Washington football team to return to D.C. without first changing its name. Washington currently plays at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. The stadium opened in 1997. According to reports, the Redskins expressed interest in playing at RFK Stadium after a bill was introduced in 2019 urging the federal government to sell the land to the city. The bill won't pass unless the land is used for the team under a different name. The Redskins' nickname has come under even more scrutiny since the police-involved death of Floyd in May. The name has been deemed racist by many, but the organization has refused to change it. Snyder has said he's not open to changing the name and views it as an honor towards Native Americans. The Washington team has also been known as the Redskins since 1933, when they changed the name from the Boston Braves to the Boston Redskins. The team then moved to Washington in 1937. Strange video here. I don't know if you saw this or not, but there was this crazy sized bird, looked like a giant eagle, maybe a condor, okay, that was literally carrying a shark in its talons through the air. Yeah, it happened in Myrtle Beach, California, and this lucky operator of a drone actually caught the bird carrying the shark away. Clearly, the bird had a successful fishing trip, but it's debating what it caught. It looks like a small shark. At one point, the sea creature started flopping wildly in an attempt to get free from the bird's clutches, but to no avail. Upon further inspection, it seems to be an osprey, which is a fish-eating bird of prey. And though many believe the raptor is carrying a shark, we've learned that it could be a large Spanish mackerel instead. The fish is common in the waters along the Carolina coast. Either way, the clip has people thinking it's a sign to the next calamity of 2020 because it's exactly how Sharknado began, people. Think about this. This would be my nightmare coming true here. Even the Sci-Fi Channel tweeted, "We always knew this day would come. Hashtag Sharknado." It's been real this year, hasn't it? Just absolutely been real. Oh my God, could you imagine? Hey, I got a question for all of you. How many of you suffer from the fact that mosquitoes love you? I'm one of those guys. I mean, literally, I have mosquitoes holding up poster boards outside my back doors saying, "Come on, Davey, give us a little sip of that O positive. Just a little taste." All right? They chant for me. They do. And I'm sure some of them chant for you as well. So people who hate mosquitoes, and companies are making a lot of anti-mosquito things right now. Candles, wristbands, chemicals, and herb sprays, even electronic devices. But if you want to keep mosquitoes off of your bare skin, you just need two things: bug spray and a fan. The many alternatives either don't work or aren't worth your time. Citronella candles aren't significantly more effective than the regular candles, which, as you might guess, don't do much to ward off mosquitoes. Those light-up bug zappers aren't helpful because mosquitoes don't care about light. Wristbands only keep mosquitoes off your wrists, so unless you're weaving them into a full bodysuit, they're not going to help. You get the idea of what's going on. So what about bug spray? Yeah, DEET really works. And so do picaridin and oil of lemon eucalyptus. If a mosquito repellent, especially a natural one, doesn't have enough of one of these ingredients, it's probably no good. The easiest way to tell which products are legit without memorizing a list, you can check the back label of an EPA register number. Second, a fan. If you are hanging out on the porch and you don't want to spray anything on yourself, or if you did use the spray but they're still flying around, get yourself a fan box and set it on up. You can get one for about $20 at a hardware store, which is less than you'd spend on a bunch of citronella candles. Even though I think citronella candles work. They seem to work for me, at least the British Columbia ones here. All right. Mosquitoes are weak flyers, which is why they surround you when the air is stagnant and soupy. Set up a fan or take advantage of a natural breeze, and you will keep them at bay. Besides the effective strategies, there are a couple more that need to be mentioned here. Wear long sleeves and pants if you can stand them, and stay inside if you don't need to be out. Yes, both are no fun in the summertime, but if you want to enjoy your porch, maybe have a drink or something along those lines, get some bug spray plus a fan. It's just that simple. More than 350 elephants have died in northern Botswana in a mysterious mass die-off described by scientists as a conservation disaster. A cluster of elephant deaths was first reported in early May, with 169 individuals dead by the end of the month. By mid-June, the number had more than doubled, with 70% of the deaths clustered around waterholes. According to local sources who wish to remain anonymous, this is a mass die-off on a level that hasn't been seen in a very long time. Outside of drought, I don't know of the die-off that has been this significant, said Dr. Niall McCann, Director of Conservation at UK-based charity National Park Rescue. The Botswana government has not yet tested samples, so there is no information on what is causing the deaths or whether they could pose a risk to human health. The two main possibilities are poisoning or an unknown pathogen, anthrax, initially considered the most likely cause, has been ruled out. McCann said, when we've got a mass die-off of elephants near human habitation at a time when wildlife disease is very much at the forefront of everyone's minds, it seems extraordinary that the government has not sent samples to a reputable lab. Local witnesses say some elephants were seen walking in circles, which is an indication of neurological impairment. If you look at the carcasses, some of them have fallen straight on their face, indicating they died very quickly. Others are obviously dying more slowly, like the ones that are wandering around, so it is very difficult to say what the toxin is, McCann says. Elephants of all ages, both sexes, have been dying, local reports found. Several live elephants appeared weak and emaciated, suggesting more will die in the coming weeks. The true number of deaths is likely to be even higher because carcasses can be difficult to spot. Cyanide poisoning, often used by poachers in Zimbabwe, remains a possibility, but scavenging animals do not seem to be dying at the carcasses. Local reports say there were fewer vultures on carcasses than expected, but none showed the signs of abnormal behavior. There is no precedent for this being a natural phenomena, but without proper testing, it will never be known, McCann says. COVID-19 has been mentioned as a possible cause, but is considered highly unlikely. There are about 15,000 elephants in the Delta, 10% of the country's total. Ecotourism contributes to 10 to 12% of Botswana's GDP, second only to diamonds. You see elephants as assets of the country. They are the diamonds wandering around the Delta, said McCann. It's a conservation disaster. It speaks of a country that is failing to protect its most valuable resource. No kidding. No kidding. That's scary. Here's another scary story. You know, I'm getting tired of seeing these wedding couples getting close to like big waves to throw their flowers in because, you know, these two are almost dead on their wedding day. A wedding photo shoot in California on a beach ended in near disaster when the newlyweds were actually swept from a large rock by a giant wave. A witness captured the video on scene near the Montage Hotel in Laguna Beach when the couple, dressed in their wedding garb, were hit by a giant wave and swept into the sea. The video shows a team of lifeguards hurrying to rescue the drenched but uninjured couple. The National Weather Service issued a warning this week of highly unusual waves in the area and potential rip currents during the weekend. I mean, you think we'd learn by now. Think we'd learn. Authorities in Virginia say a group of large pigs caused lane closures and long traffic backups when they escaped from a trailer and went running loose on the interstate. Yes, Kelly Hannon, Virginia Department of Transportation, says the first reports came in about 1 p.m. of loose hogs running through the traffic. Yeah, they had a mighty convoy going on Interstate 95, you know, rushing through the night. We got a mighty convoy. Ain't she a beautiful sight? The pigs wanted to join the convoy because nothing was going to get in their way because they had a great big convoy across the USA. Pig convoy. Hauling hogs. None of you expected that one, did you? No way. Thought of the Dave happens every night at this time where we ask a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your responses on the air because we love the audience participation around here. Today's Thought of the Dave is as follows. In detail, what scares you about the paranormal and supernatural? Let's start off with our favorite veteran, Marty, on Twitter. Thank you for the clown, Marty. Paranormal and supernatural things don't really scare me, but alien abductions are a different thing. And even though I'm not an experiencer myself, I know people who have told me things that are scary about the subject. John, that something might be able to act on me in ways I don't want, and I seem powerless to stop. Rono, people that are afraid of it. Thanks, Ron. Going deep there, buddy. Going deep. All right, moving on here. Let's go to our next crew. Tom, something following me home. Adam, it's rather simple. It's the fear of what we don't understand. The things that live in the dark corners of our minds. Do ghosts exist, or do we subconsciously create our own worst fears into existence? Are we ourselves the things that need to be scared of? Alex, Zach Bagans after he had too many energy drinks. Unlike Zach, however, I'm cool with donkeys. Thank you, Alex. Robert, people's misunderstanding and the stupidity that follows. Steven's afraid of probing. Corey, demonic entities. I think what is most scary is the damage that they could be causing to your life without you even realizing it. Nigel, nothing scares me because he's Super Nigel. William, the lack of critical thinking and objectivity displayed by individuals investigating the topic. Heidi, Ghosts or hauntings bother me. I lived in a refurbished Victoria Asylum, and after telling a couple of troublesome ghosts to move along when we moved in, I don't like to listen or watch anything to do with ghosts or hauntings. Maybe this is why I don't invite anything back. Karen, the people that conjure things or dabble in the dark arts, specifically inviting in evil and dark things. Jack, not knowing what it all means. Kim, the normal is so much more frightening. Wendy, we are not sure of what we don't know. Jill, following me home. Natasha, your unending questions. They will always be there. She goes, just kidding. I experience curiosity, but no real fear per se. Gail, everything to do with things without skin. I have a theory. If you were meant to associate in any way with something, we should be able to see it fully appearing with skin and clothing. Terry, the dark side of the paranormal scares the hell out of me. An attachment also bothers me, so I tend to stay in the light side of the paranormal. David, the human response to it. Jim, just the unknown, not the aliens. Debbie, people that label themselves experts. Kelly and Kelly's beard. I don't really have a fear of the paranormal, no time for it at all. What I'm more scared of is the people who are alive. Kevin and Kevin's beard. Let's get to that one. Having a heart attack. If I expect it, I'm okay. If I pull in my driveway at 3 a.m. and there is a 7-foot shadow figure looking at me, the first few seconds, test the old heart. Thank you for everybody participating in the Thought of the Dave. I really do appreciate you taking the time. We'll do it all again on Facebook and Twitter tomorrow. Yes, we will. You can get your response on there as well, because we'd love to read it on the air. Thank you to Captain Shirk for putting together just a wonderful, wonderful newscast. You can find them at the SOR Newswire Facebook page, as well as on our website, spacedoutradio.com. Captain Shirk keeps us all up to date, and we love her for it. We really do. And a big thank you to our guest tonight, Marilynn Hughes, outofbodytravels.com, is her site, so make sure you check that on out. We would appreciate that. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar guy. Teresa, what the Sam hell are you doing? I love you. Thank you so much for that super chat. That is way too kind. Way too kind, my beautiful friend. You are way too generous. I love you, though. Me love you long time. Me love you long time, sister. Oh. I don't know why, but every time I pull my headphones off. Okay, guys, we got to have a serious talk here for a second. Serious talk. Because I'm actually thinking of cutting my hair. I am thinking of not cutting it all the way off, but I've got like 10 inches here I can donate. And I think it's time. That's just me. I think my hair is like 12 inches long. And I think it's time to donate. I need your thoughts here. Because we can always grow it again. All right? We can always grow it again. But I need your thoughts. I've been growing it since September of 2017. And I don't know. Hey, PBR, where you been hiding? Where you been hiding? I haven't seen you for the last couple of nights. No, I won't man bun the fucking thing. No, never do that. No, I'm not going to go bald. So I need your thoughts. I would give my hair to you, Lisa Marie. I totally would. If you want it, it's yours. I will send you my hair. But I think I'm ready. No, it's not going to be a bowl cut. But I think I'm ready to cut it. Grandma Rose will come up to BC and slap you in the face if you do it, Dave, and I'll have to drive her. Oh, man. Well, it's good to have you here, PBR. Thank you for coming on in. And you know what? I'm pissed off at you, PBR. I unlock you in the Spreaker room, and you don't even show up, you dirty bastard. Dirty, dirty bastard. No, I'm serious too, Lisa. If you want my hair, because I know what you're going through, and if I don't know if you have the ability to have a wig made, but I don't know how weird that would be, but I would totally donate my hair to you. Totally donate my hair to you. Yeah, OBEs freaked me out too, man. Oh. I know you're out there somewhere watching me. I don't know about you guys, but I kind of like that little thing I say at the end about the woo train. I don't know, it just makes me feel kind of like powerful. I know it shouldn't, but it does. Ended a little spookiness. Just get myself ready here. We're going to be trying something different with the audio on Sunday. See if we could clean that up for Michael. No, I'm not gonna shave my head. I like having hair, but I think I'm done with the long stuff. Shanna Banana, what do you think about the hair? Just out of curiosity. John Hudson, welcome to our chat room, man. Thank you. Dave doesn't sing. Dave doesn't sing, John. Do you have your hat on, John? That's what I want to know. John's usually lurking on Twitter. He's one of our Twitterites. Yeah, he does have a little bit of audio issues, PBR, but we're going to get that cleaned up here. Nice. John wears a nice hat. If you go look on his Twitter profile, he's got a good hat on. All right. So this is going like this. Okay, I'll be right back here in a couple seconds, guys. All right. Has anybody seen Renee from New Zealand for a while? Renee from New Zealand. She hasn't been around for a while. Wonder what's going on. I know she was in a move somewhere. I don't know. Just out of curiosity. All right. Okay. And then let's go this way. Is that actually happening like that? No, I haven't converted those. Okay. All right. Never mind. Never mind. Hey, doctor, how you doing? No, Barther didn't get banned. He just hasn't been around for a couple of days. The third Nibble crew is on hiatus. Oh, yeah. I love them. I love them. I will do my best to do that. The unfortunate part about it is, John, I don't get a lot of time. And I usually have exactly 90 minutes in between my daytime job and then eating dinner and then going into my nighttime gig, which is this. So I don't usually get a lot of time, but I will try to listen to that one. Yeah, that bill in Congress is going to be pretty damn cool. If they get that passed, we are in for a lot, hopefully, of really, really cool stuff. All right, remember, there's 2 verification codes tonight. 2 verification codes, and we're going to be getting to them here momentarily. All right, the editing is done. Now we got to go to the downloading. So let's go like this. Like that. Add files. Let's go. Desktop. Convert that to MP3. Convert. Overwrite. All right, let's get those verification codes going, people. All right, so let's set the first one up. Oh, cancel that. Wrong file. There we go. Upload that. Let's go KZFX. All right. Verification code number 1 is 810976. 810976. Anybody have that one tonight? And verification code number 2 will be coming up momentarily. All right. Verification code number 2 is, come on. No, it's not that one. 094513. 094513. That's your verification code. You don't have it, Fapster. Grandma Rose might. Yeah, somebody get a hold of Renee and just say, get your ass back in here. Get your ass back in here. Okay, so I see how many people are chatting. I know there's 62 watching right now. Who's new? Come on into our chat room. Come say hello to old Davey and the rest of the group here. We'd love to see you. We'd love to say hello to you. Good one, PBR. All right. Cool. Conversion complete. Cool. Now we can send this file off. Oh, what the hell is downloading here? Hold on a second here. I don't even know what the hell is downloading. How do I stop that? What the hell is downloading? Oh, it is downloading. Hide. Never mind. Never mind. Oh my goodness, Nikki, get the whip out. Look at you. Look at you. Good night, redheaded Lisa. Mike and Ike's are good, man. Do y'all have push-ups in Canada? You know, sherbet in a cardboard tube, basically. No, but that sounds delectable. Just delectable. Dave, whatever happened to that matchmaking blind date you set up, New Zealand Renee and Human Carl? Well, I don't know what happened there. I don't know. 49 Fahrenheit. That's about what it is here right now. It's a beautiful temperature. What's my weather going to be like here? Right now it's 51 degrees Fahrenheit, 11 degrees Celsius. That's t-shirt weather. My God, more fucking rain coming. Well, at least at least it'll be t-shirt weather. Daniel Thorson. Thank you, Marie. No, I'd forgotten about that prick until you brought him up. Thanks for that. 32 Celsius. That's one done. That's the idiot who tried to play dumb when he went into a Buddhist retreat for 75 days and came out and said the entire world had changed around him and he knew nothing about it. Idiot. Bloody moron. "32 degrees Celsius is the equivalent to about 86 degrees, FAP. Is that what it is, Nick? Double it and add 30? No, I haven't done any shows on Port Chatham. Corey controls all of that, so I know we're pretty much booked up for August. I think we have a couple of dates left. We're just seeing if I'm going to be going to San Antonio or not. Two down. Oh, you got to be fucking kidding me. It downloaded the wrong goddamn one again. You piece of shit. This ain't fucking cool. Why didn't I notice that? God damn it. Stop that. Stop that. Fuck. Done. Erase, delete, upload folder, desktop, KZAX. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Oh. Oh well. That's the worst thing in life that happens. We're doing okay. Devin's trying to fire me up here. Oh. You know, that Daniel Thorson, he's the kind of guy who used to flick his cigarettes out of a car window into the forest, and one caught a forest fire, and then a dozen years later, after he's quit smoking, he punishes people for having a cigarette and butting out on the sidewalk. He's that dick right there. He's the kind of guy who sends modeling pictures to kids' magazines, hoping to be the next crayon ad. There was a series of tracks there, Davin, pardon me. There was a series of tracks. So that was like a watering hole because there was a puddle there. If there's nothing. Oh yeah. Oh, huge fap. He is totally the kind of guy who orders a kale smoothie at a steakhouse. He's the kind of guy who goes to the steakhouse and protests that they're cooking steak. He's such a piece of shit. Oh. Such a piece of shit. Oh, stop. Where are we here? One second here. I'm just sending a message here. Oh, yeah. You're totally right. He's the kind of guy who still thinks Dockers are in style. He's the kind of guy who still walks around a park asking people to play hacky sack. Oh, totally, Shanna. Totally. He's the kind of guy who goes up to drunk chicks in the bar and asks them to make love to him that night. All right, everyone. It's that time of the night where I got to get off the bed. Let's carry on the He's the Kind of Guy tomorrow night. Remind us, Fapster and Davin. Remind us on that because that's important shit. But I got to get going here, guys, because I got to be up for work in the morning in like 6 hours. So much love to all of you. Thank you to Teresa, Bob, and Jenny for the super chats. And I love you all. And we'll talk to you tomorrow night. R. Keith Andrews.